So let me ask you, have you ever repeated the lesson not for students, just for observer? Write your answers in comments. Hi everyone, I'm Arifa. Let me confess. Have you ever taught a perfect lesson, every chart shining and every word rehearsed? And after that, you just realized your student learned nothing, absolutely nothing. Yup, it was me. That day, my classroom looked like a blockbuster movie, and my students, they were low paid extras. Welcome to episode 5 Confessions of a Classroom. In this episode, we are going to discuss about 3 real stories and their impact on students' learning. What are these impacts? Number 1, surface learning. Number 2, broken flow. And number 3, confidence crash. Here is a quick question for you. Have you ever over-prepared yourself to impress the principal? Deep down, you knew it wasn't working for students. So let me take you to the teacher observation. Yes, teacher observation. I was ready for the stage. New dress, straightened hair, contact lenses in, and my bag was full of resources. And my classroom looked less classroom and more like a science museum. That just won the award. I was anxious at the same time. And one of my colleagues, she whispered a magic spell. She said, Arifa, just revise the previous lesson. That way your students will answer all those questions if principal asks. Smart trick, right? Yes, I followed the same because it looked nice to me. And I asked question, and I conducted the whole lesson, and I asked question to the students, and the answers came like a scripted drama. My principal smiled, I smiled, and my class walls seemed to clap. And later, my principal called me and she said, well done, Arifa, you did a good job. But it seemed like your students already knew the answers. Ouch, truth bomb dropped. Because that is the teacher's trap. When an observer walks in, we suddenly turn into magicians. We ask those questions to students, which will applaud. There's a quick question for you. Do you think your students can tell this lesson is just for performance, or do you believe they go along with it? Write your answer in comment section. Great, but there is a reality. Your students can smell act a mile away. And do you know what happened on that day exactly? My student didn't learn anything. They just performed. And one of my students, he asked, ma'am, why we are repeating this as we have already done it yesterday? Honestly speaking, I was just performing and I was delivering my lecture in front of the principal just to impress her. Because my students already knew it, one day earlier I have already told them, principal is going to visit our class, so you have to answer these questions in front of her. So I gave them the list of questions. Imagine that instead of learning something new, they were just actors in my observation. Lesson looked perfect, but learning depth, zero. So let me ask you, have you ever repeated the lesson not for students, just for observer? Write your answers in comments. Another time, an observer from the head office came to observe my English lesson. They glanced at my lesson plan and asked, why aren't you following the activity written here? And I replied honestly, teaching isn't frozen on a paper. It changes in real time. But they didn't get it. They were continuously asking questions. Meanwhile, my student whispered, why Miss is pushing writing when we are not ready? Their rhythm broke and their confidence dropped. It's time to ponder. Do you follow your lesson plan 100% or you adapt when students aren't ready? Because while I was busy in defending my lesson plan and my students, they were sitting unattended, waiting, disconnected and confused. That day, my students started thinking that the lessons are not for us, only for the observers. They notice when activities don't fit, and they also noticed when questions are rushed. Because they were whispering, Miss, are we studying for us or for the observer? And that hit me hard. And some of my students, they are being questioned by the observer, so that's why they were confused and nervous, and that completely broke the momentum of the class. And there's a twist. the Greek moment. I call it a Greek tragedy. There is another observation day, and I wanted to impress my principal. So I conducted the whole lesson through and through in English. And my students were blank, confused. Whenever I asked questions, there was a complete silence in the class, wide eyes and blank faces. And students, they started talking at the back. Miss is speaking Greek today because it seemed like an ancient Greek to them. Here's a quick question for you. Did you ever change your teaching style just because someone is watching? Y for yes and N for no, write in comments. Thank you. And honestly speaking, they were not wrong because I was not teaching the students, I was teaching the observer. Today, my students' confidence crashed. When teachers suddenly change the teaching style to impress the others, the kids start thinking that they are dumb, they don't belong here. So it is my humble request to all of the teachers, so be natural and go with the flow whenever someone comes to your class. Observation pressure doesn't stress the teachers only, they stress the students and ruin the classroom environment. So here is my confession on observation day. I wasn't teaching, I was just performing. The lesson looked perfect outside, but the students, they paid the price. And you know, I'm not alone in this. Teachers from London to Delhi and New York, they all said the same thing. Observation kills the classroom environment and they shattered the students' confidence and teacher confidence as well. Because we know very well when someone is watching, we try to impress them and we change our teaching style and we change our body language as well. What do you think? School observations are about teachers showing off or students' actual learning? Write your answers in comments. I will read them later. In Finland, teacher observations are for teachers' growth and trust. Teachers aren't judged, they are being supported by the schools. So let me share the Finnish solutions for the better teacher observation. There are 3 solutions. Number 1, peer coaching circles. Number 2, low-stake walkthroughs. Number 3, student-centered reflection. So what they do in peer coaching circles, what teachers do, they observe each other in small groups, share one positive, one growth, and no judgment at all. Number 2, low-stake walkthroughs, the principal casually focus on atmosphere, not a performance. And the third point, student-centered reflection. They ask, how did the students learn today? Not how did the teacher perform? In Canada, they are also following the peer coaching circles and low-stake walkthroughs. So these are global solutions. If we follow in our Pakistani classrooms, we can bring change. Honestly, I would suggest peer observations and informal check-ins. Why? They help the teacher to teach them naturally instead of faking a lesson. So when the colleagues or leader drop in, the teacher needs to be authentic, no drama, no over prep, just teaching. And you know the best part? Students see the consistent teaching style, not the sudden performance drama. And you know the best part? Students see the same consistent teaching style, not sudden performance for the visitor. So here is my big question. Have you ever faked a lesson just for an observation? And how did your students respond? Do you believe observation days help teachers grow or just pressure? Drop your story in the comments, and if you think learning should come before performance, hit subscribe. See you in next video. Take care. Bye-bye.